Retailers are facing plummeting consumer confidence. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Today I've got my $1 7-Eleven coffee, hashtag not sponsored, although I'd love to be, and I thought we'd have a look at this article, drawing attention to plunging consumer confidence and making reference to a mini retail boom, and that's news to me, I guess. Has there been a mini retail boom? I thought there was a few upswings in the December and November months with regards to Cyber Monday, Black Friday and Boxing Day, but it didn't come across as a boom, not with all of the businesses that had been going under recently, but maybe I'm just reading different news. Anyway, bushfires send consumer confidence lower as mini retail boom rolls over. Australia's devastating bushfire season has driven already weak consumer confidence even lower, pointing to an abrupt end to the mini boom in retail late last year. And I will bring up that chart here. We can see consumer confidence. It's definitely trending down. A mini boom. Can someone tell me in the comments, guys, where have we seen a mini boom? Was it only those three instances? Boxing Day sales were up, Cyber Monday, and Black Friday. That didn't feel like or didn't register like a boom to me. The respected Westpac Melbourne Institute Index of Consumer Sentiment dipped deeper into pessimism, falling a further 1.8 points, or 1.8%, to 93.4 in January. Now with this index, what they do is they ask a series of questions and they compare the number of positive to pessimistic. If we're above 100, there's generally more people positive. If we're below 100, there's generally more people pessimistic. There you go. A reading of 100 is the break-even point between optimism and pessimism. The lower the number, the grimmer the outlook. So we're all becoming doomers, everyone. Boomer doomers. Boomer doomers. Westpac chief economist Bill Evans said the result was hardly surprising. Since the lows of the global financial crisis, where the index averaged only 89 over a 15-month period from March 2008 to May 2009, there have been 7 monthly readings where the index has printed below 93.4, Mr. Evans said. In short, confidence has been further eroded by the bushfires, but because the index was starting from such a modest level, it was likely that the fall in confidence would be less than some may have expected. Mr. Evans said the pessimism is consistent with the general lackluster reports on consumer spending. And what we'll do is I will just bring up trading economics here, guys, and we can see what the expectations were. Let's see if Bill's predictions were correct. And what are we today? 23rd. Consumer inflation expectations, and what we'll do this week. So we can see here consumer confidence change, consumer confidence index. Now this is what the previous one was, and this is what the forecast was. So the forecast was 44.7, but the actual was 93.4. So you can see just here from the percent change, the forecast was 0.4, and it was actually 1.8. So while Mr. Evans is saying the fall is less than expected, he's off the mark here. At least according to these forecasts from trading economics, it's much worse than forecast. You know, that 1.8% is 3 times 0.4. Mr. Evans said the pessimism is consistent with the general lackluster reports on consumer spending. Yes, and I just read that again. Hang on, there we go. Got to get it working. The surprising jump in retail sales, which was reported in November, is likely to have largely reflected the Black Friday effect. So how did they call that a mini boom? Is this enough? I guess we're dealing with journalism here. We're not dealing with academic work, and it's all, you've got to use clickbait, and well, I'm on YouTube. I understand how it works. The way you title things is very important. Retail sales are likely to slide again. And remember, guys, whenever we discuss the retail sales, the retail sector, that's about 10% of the workforce. And we also saw yesterday how the trading or the number of retail shops. If the landlords start losing shops, it affects the property valuation of their centres. It affects the rent they can charge for neighbouring tenancies, and it also affects their share price. So, this view is supported by the latest cashless sales data report by NAB. The bank found there had been a pullback in retail turnover in December after a very strong November spurt driven by expanding Black Friday sales, bringing forward Christmas spending. However, NAB chief economist Alan Oster said retailers have more fundamental issues to deal with than new seasonal patterns in shopping. Unemployment set to edge higher, even though it went slightly down. We'll have to look at it, although I put money that it's going to go up. Sluggish wage growth, and yes, you can see here, I still have to turn this into a mug or a t-shirt. Elevated consumer debt continue to dampen consumer sentiment despite interest rate cuts and higher house and share prices, Mr. Oster said. And this is the thing with the afterpay. While, looking at their terms and conditions, they seem reasonable. They seem like it is not too much risk. If you're a default, they cut you off. Better than credit cards. But remember, that's future spending brought forward as well. So it's not going to be the savior of the retail sector. The current bushfire season, underway since September, is a national tragedy. The local economic impact in bushfire-affected areas has been extreme. While it is unlikely that the fires were a major influence on the national December retail data, there may be much more substantial second-round impacts in January and February. While the overall economic pictures for households from the Westpac survey remain subdued, there were some positive signs emerging relating to solid gains in the housing and stock markets. What? Okay, this will be interesting. Let's go down this journey. I would put an argument out there that the stock market might be inflated because the cash rate is so low, people are moving their money into the market to try and get any returns. And the growth in the housing sector, let's have a look. Property and prices, they've been shooting up. But relative to wages, they're still unaffordable. And how much of that has only been in the upper quartile, the top quarter of properties? Shouldn't we have a wealth effect then? Shouldn't we see, if this housing increase was affecting the whole market, wouldn't we see that reflected in retail spending if the wealth effect was kicking in? But no, we're seeing lower consumer confidence. We're still seeing, high arrears rate. So this one could argue, and I'll put this to you, and let me know what you think in the comments, that we're seeing this housing increase in the upper echelons, so it's not filtering through to the wider populace, so you're not seeing it reflected in the retail spending. If it was a real widespread housing increase, then you would see it in the retail spending. And the stock market increase, I would argue that it will not have as big an impact on the wealth effect as housing prices, because a lot of people don't have shares. I know a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't have a portfolio. So households were also feeling marginally more confident about employment opportunities. Mr. Evans noted the time to buy and the house price expectations measures continued to make strong gains and were likely to support house prices at least in the near term. So let's look at consumer sentiment by category. So overall, well, there you go. Look, it's gone down 1.8%. Percentage change in 1 year, negative 6.2. Family finances versus 1 year ago. Look how negative that is, guys. 82, down 3.1% in a year. Economic conditions versus the next 12 months. Look at that. It's gone down 11.9% over the year. Consumer sentiment is plunging, guys. It's plunging. Time to buy a dwelling. It's gone up 3.4. And house price expectations. Wow. Look at that. That has just shot up. We've got the consumer sentiment. This is from Westpac. Let's have a look. No. House price expectations index. That's insane. 58 up in the year. I'll have to look at that in greater detail in another video, I think. But what, I'll show that there, you can see that there. What do you think, guys? Do you think that's going up so high? So here we have it, guys. Here we have it. The key points. Retail sales are likely to sink again after a mini boom inspired by Black Friday sales in November. Devastating bushfires have further damaged already weak consumer confidence. While households remain concerned about the economy, most expect house prices to keep rising. Why? Why would they keep rising? Let me know in the comments. I can't see why. Wages aren't driving it up. GDP growth isn't driving it up. The only thing I can see is a low cash rate, so more people have access to funds. But then we've also got foreign investment tanking. You've got arrears rates that are high. Job ads are down. Building approvals are down, so okay, there may be more stock, but there's going to be less people working in the building industry. And unemployment has shot up by 0.1. I haven't updated my graph here, but I mean, guys, business confidence and business conditions are still low. So why do people think it's going to go up? Is it just a media-fueled buzz? Let me know your suggestions, please, because I can't see why it's going to keep going up this year. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're a fan. If you'd like to help us a little bit extra, we have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. We also have the ability for you to join the channel here on YouTube, where you get access to badges and emojis. Finally, we have our very own merchandise we make at the HeiseSays website, and affiliate links for Independent Reserve for your crypto trading, and Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. Thanks to everyone who helps support the channel those ways, especially everyone who just watches it. That's great. I'm buying new equipment to help improve what I can do. I've just received my action camera that I got from Kogan. $45. We'll see how it goes. I'll do an unboxing. And I'm looking at buying some lavalier mics because Rachel and I have been invited to give a lecture, so I need to try and record it from a distance. This is the thing, when you do all this YouTubing as a hobby, it's good. You learn all these new skills that you can apply to other things. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.